faith, grace, love, connection is righteousness. Well, howdy folks, this is Stephen. It is Tuesday, 4:30. It is the last day of the month of April. We're pushing towards, we're almost halfway through this year. It's happening fast. If times weren't shortened, even the elect would be deceived. And there's a lot of deception going on out there. This is not a political channel. I'm thinking about maybe doing a Patreon and hooking up a Patreon with the Rumble account. I'm going to try to do a new Rumble account because Rumble's so hard to use compared to YouTube. And I was hoping that over the last 5-7 years, whatever, that I was kind of hooked up into Rumble, that they would figure out a way to make it easier and like put up the tools that, you know, we got YouTube Studio, everything else. It's YouTube is very user friendly overall compared to other platforms. And gosh, if you're a Rumble person, kind of go after them and say, hey man, you need to make this more better, more simpler for people like us that want to actually really get on there but don't have the time or wherewithal to try to figure out how to actually make it work for us. Whereas YouTube figured it out. I mean, we got a lot of tools on YouTube. It's a shame that it's, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. Let's get into the clarity of focus in the number 7, part 1. Let's look at and gain understanding of the perfection of God's patterns in His Bible. I had one more thought about the number 2. Oh, yeah. You know, I was thinking about the number 2 and the shed blood beard and the power of our words. We overcome evil by the blood of the Lamb and our testimony about what the blood of the Lamb has done for us. We need our testimony. The power of the beard, the words of our mouth, wisdom. This empowers our testimony. And that was just a thought that came to me while I was driving, and I was just like, you know what? I got to add this in on Tuesday because it's an extra thought, and I don't think there's any real, when it comes to God stuff, I don't think it's extra thoughts. I think it's a needed thought to be expressed. When you have thoughts like that, express them, because we have the power of the shed blood beard for our mouths to speak the things of God. And that's what that is all about. And that's why you see, like I was talking about that list and other teachings that negate or completely eliminate that particular instance in God's pattern. And they throw something else in there. And we have to stick to the pattern of God. So let's get back to the number 7, which is part of the patterns of God. It's very interesting. 7 has been a predominant number this year in all the signs that we've had. First of all, we are in the 7th millennium. That's been a sign now for 24 years. 25, almost 25 years. 24 and a half. We must always keep that in mind, right? Because that means we're in a transition. And I've talked about transition, and then this year I've talked about convergence. Transition and convergence. And I think I did give a word about this is a time of transition. And so we are transitioning to a new thing. And for us that are in covenant, new things are going to be powerful things. They're going to be overcoming things. And for the world, the new things that are coming upon this world are not going to be that pleasant. Okay, but there's transition happening and there's convergence happening. Okay, when we do, we will have eyes to see and ears to hear. When we keep this in mind, we'll have eyes to see and ears to hear. We have to have our supernatural eyes and our supernatural ears to be able to see and receive and hear what's going on right now by the Spirit. And we say by the Spirit, the number 7 is the Spirit of God. Troy Brewer's Numbers That Preach. And like I said, we're going to be reading out of that for the next 3 days after today. And we're going to learn a lot, and then we're going to go into Bollinger and see what he has to say, and then we'll wrap it all up in the 7 times Jesus shed his blood. And I think this is going to be a very in-depth view and gain great understanding. I've never gone this deep into a particular number, but I'm really impressed that we need to have this completion within our hearts, because if we're completed within our hearts and our eyes are open and our ears are hearing, we're going to hear that trump of God, and we're going to see him coming in the clouds, and we will be taken away for the wedding supper of the Lamb. This is a time for preparation. All these things are not to scare us. They are here to prepare us if we'll be willing. So we'll have awareness through all this. And how do we have awareness? Expectation. We got to have expectation. My goodness, real Bible hope. You know, the world and the demonic forces of this world have totally diminished the word hope to a wish, when real Bible hope is concrete, confident, unwavering expectation that what God has said is. That's real Bible hope. Expectation of the times will open your eyes to the times manifesting according to the Word. Open, and that, when I wrote that down, it was like, open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. Man, and that I love that song. It's one of my favorite all-time worship songs, and that's what we need today. We need to have such expectation that our hearts are open and we see exactly what God is doing. Desire and expectation. Make sure you have this in the 7th millennium, and we will have the clarity of focus that we need to be ready with our lamps filled with the anointing oil of expectation, so we will be the ones to walk through that door with the bridegroom and be on the right side of the door when it gets shut. I love you. God bless you, and I'll see you next time.